Bitch is a Bad Word podcast is for informational purposes only and reflects the opinions of the host and guests. It contains explicit content and discusses sensitive topics such as domestic abuse, sexual assault, and violence, which may be distressing to some listeners. Please take care of your emotional well-being while listening. While we strive for accuracy, we make no warranties about the completeness or reliability of the information, and any reliance on it is at your own risk. We do not endorse third-party views and are not liable for any defamatory claims. Listeners should conduct their own research and consult professionals before making decisions. If you or someone you know is in danger, please call 911 or contact the National Domestic Abuse Hotline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 800-799-7233 or text START, S-T-A-R-T, to 88788. We've got your back, besties. Caliber Studios has not independently verified the information you're about to hear. Welcome back to this episode of Bitch Sesh. We have our new bestie, Loren Gray, joining us. Welcome to Bitch is a Bad Word.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
We are so grateful for you to be joining us and sharing your story. As we know, there's no safety in staying silent. And the more that we all band together and share our experiences and, open the conversation for somebody else to join and feel like that they're not alone and that this is an epidemic and we need to be a band of bitches.
Love it.
Get loud. So thank you for joining us. And kind of like I always do, every great story should just start at the beginning.
Yeah, here we go.
Let's do it.
So we were on and off for years, and during our last off time, if you will, we had met up for a drink, and what was meant to be like an hour-long innocent drink catch-up thing turned into this 6-hour-long dinner of just kind of talking through everything of our past, like why were we on and off. It was really clear at that dinner that we were still attracted to each other and there was still love there. And two really big topics came up in that during that dinner. One is that the previous time we were together from that point, I had gotten pregnant and I just knew I wasn't in a place to start a family. So I did end up getting an abortion and just, it was a really tough, devastating time to go through that. Even though I did make that choice for myself, it's not an easy choice to make. And I just really did not feel supported from him through that experience. And we talked a lot about that and just like me sharing how I felt, my perspective. I honestly didn't even feel like I was given a choice. Like it felt like he almost decided for me that this is what we're doing. It wasn't even a discussion. So again, just sharing that. And then his response was a lot of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you felt that way. It was this big misunderstanding. I didn't know that you were feeling this way. I wanted to be there for you. I didn't know how, blah, blah, blah. And this will come back up again in the future. And then the second topic was, this was maybe a year or two after we had been together. So at that point, I did feel ready to start a family, and I was actually starting to look at the single mom by choice route. So we talked a lot about that, why I was interested in it, me feeling ready to be a mom, start a family. And he was a little bit taken aback. Like, I can't believe you would do that. Essentially, the message was, I love you so much. If you want to start a family, like, let's do it. I'm in. So we just sort of left that dinner being like, okay, something's here. We have a lot more to talk about. Again, still feeling like there's still love here. Let's figure this out. So we agreed to go to couples therapy, really with the intention of, are we all in or are we never again? Like, we need to stop doing this on and off thing. So with that intention, the deep stuff came up. The just what our parenting styles are going to look like, the education for our children, the health choices, our values, the values for ourselves and what we want to pass down to our kids, what our relationship would look like, monogamy or not. We had agreed monogamy. So through all those conversations, we did decide we're all in. So that was maybe like 3 months of therapy, and we did land to the point of like, yep, we're aligned, we're good, we're having these deep conversations, they feel good. I love you, you love me, let's do this.
Can I just say something? That is
Yeah.
like the healthiest thing I've ever fucking heard. So I don't.
Well,
I'm like,
so thank
what?
you. Yeah. So I bring that up because that's what that's what caused a lot of confusion, because for so long I thought I was in this really healthy, awesome, mature relationship.
Yes,
And
I'm going to
that's,
tick all of those boxes because
yeah.
I was like, oh, damn. Like I was just taking notes. Like we
Yeah.
should do this. God, this is amazing. Like that is
Yeah.
the healthiest thing I've heard in a very long time. So, okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, there's more.
There's a plot twist.
There's a plot twist. Yes. So about 3 months in, we decide we're all in. We move pretty quickly, from the perspective of, we just started therapy, like 3 months later, we're moving in, but also we had like I think 7 or 8 year history at that point. So I felt comfortable. It didn't feel quick necessarily, to be making those choices. And within, I think, 2 months, we had a house and I was pregnant. There were some minor things through those experiences, or, through that time, that it was like, that was kind of weird, but I just sort of chalked it up to that saying of, the first year of marriage is hard. We weren't married at that point, but it
Okay,
felt more or
I
less
need to
like we
ask that
were.
question because that's
Yeah.
an important piece, I'm sure,
Yep.
of this puzzle. You were not legally married.
No, and we were
Did that
not
come up in
engaged.
therapy? Were you going to do
It
that? Like,
did. It did. So he's he's 20 years older than me. So it
okay.
felt like, in terms of the having children thing, that was top priority. That if we knew we wanted to start a family, that came before the wedding and the marriage thing. Um, that's at least what we had landed on in in therapy together.
Okay.
Yeah, that does come up later on though.
I think so.
um,
I'm
yeah,
I
yeah,
like to track red flags. I have a little notebook here.
yep, yep, yep. No, for real. Yeah. Um, yeah. So, anyways, some things came up. I actually sort of like bare minimum knowledge and understanding of narcissism had at that time, and I remember even researching some of the stuff that he was doing and being like, I don't know, is it? And I came to the conclusion at that point of no, because it was really like I didn't understand a lot of the nuances of these personality traits, or disorders at that point. So a big thing was healing's more covert, whereas like I had more the picture and understanding of an overt narcissist, and they look very different. And then there were some minor glimpses into things. I think some folks have said, like yellow flags or pink flags, but I just felt like, but yeah, I'm getting a glimpse of it, but it's not that bad. It's not that much. And I didn't understand that that's often a sign of future escalation. So anyways, that's a bit of a side note. So yeah, so
But
I
an
was,
important one.
yeah,
The pink flags do not fade to green. Just saying.
yeah. Well, tough lesson I had to learn. So yeah, I was pregnant with my first one. He has two kids from his previous marriage. So it just, it was a pretty standard textbook pregnancy, and it was life. It was us figuring out how to be a blended family. I had started a new job early on in that pregnancy, so it just, there was a lot going on, just kind of life stuff. Fast forward to the third trimester, we had a local baby moon, and I, with his permission, grabbed his phone and went to his hidden folder because I I had the thought of like, you're not feeling super attractive in your third trimester of pregnancy. And I was like, I just want to see what pictures you have saved of me in your hidden folder. Like which ones do you think, you find me most attractive? And instead of photos of me, they were photos of his ex-wife in there. Nothing, I don't think she ever took any like provocative photos or whatever, but very sort of like ones that I could see him thinking were sexy. So that, needless to say, that kind of took the mood out of the baby moon. And then fast forward through that, labor, ready to have this baby, we're in labor. It was kind of the end of COVID time. So we actually both had COVID. I was at the tail end. He was more in the beginning, so feeling it a lot more. So he really wasn't involved at all. He was kind of just sleeping on the couch the whole time. So I remember after the fact saying like, hey, I understand you weren't feeling great, but that was a huge event for me. And I really did not feel supported. So I was sharing that, and just his reaction, he just got so angry and offended that I was saying these things, and he felt like he was super supportive. And yeah. So then fast forward maybe a couple more weeks. Again, I don't know why I did this again, but again with the same thought of like, I'm a couple weeks postpartum, not feeling great. I want to see your hidden folders and see which ones you have of me. This time, they're pretty provocative photos of one of his friends. And I remember him saying, like, I confronted him and was like, this is weird. Why is this here? And he was like, I knew you weren't, I knew you were going to react if you saw it in my photos. And so I just didn't want it there. So I hid it because I didn't want to see it either. And I was like, you would just delete it.
That's called delete.
Yeah. So just a lot of gaslighting. But again, like I just didn't really understand what was going on. And I just kept telling myself in these types of instances that this is just how guys are, I guess. And just
Had he taken the photos? Like, where did they come
No,
from?
I think she sent it. The story I got was that she trusted him as a friend to say like, hey, I'm dating someone new. I want to send him this photo. Like, is it a good photo to send, more or less?
Fuck off.
I don't
know.
Who knows? But yes, that's the story that I got with that particular.
That's a cute story that did not happen. I don't know a single woman that's like, hold on. And like, unless the guy is like her gay friend. And also she's not a good friend because you're pregnant. You just had a baby. Like, that's not the story. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. So that happened. And then maybe a couple months later, the marriage conversation came back into play. And I remember distinctly telling him like 3 or 4 times, I don't care how you propose, but there's one way that I do not want you to propose. I don't want it on a special holiday, like a birthday or Christmas or whatever. I don't want it at a restaurant, and definitely not during dessert. It's too cliche, not my vibe, just literally anything but that. And of course, guess how he proposed? Exactly that way. On my birthday.
On your birthday?
On my birthday, at a dinner, during dessert. I'm fairly certain it was the ring was in the champagne glass too. But I kind of blocked it out because I was like, are you kidding? Like, what is going on?
And you're like in Colonel Mustard in the library with the wrench.
Yep. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Wayne Callies, and I played Dr. Sarah Tancredi on Prison Break.
And I'm Paul Edelstein, and I played Agent Paul Kellerman on Prison Break. Please join us on our rewatch podcast, Prison Breaking, with Sarah and Paul.
We're going to have all kinds of guests and never-before-told stories, so follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can subscribe to our watch party on the link there. We can't wait to see you there.
And follow us on Instagram at Prison Break Podcast. See you there.
So again, like with the birthing, I mean, again, remember through all of this, I was thinking I'm in this healthy, mature relationship. We can talk through these things. I can share my feelings. So again, like the birth, after the fact, I essentially said like, hey, I told you any way but that way. Like, can you please repropose? Essentially. And of course, he did not take it well. So, the kid thing was still top of mind. I knew I wanted 2 kids and I knew I wanted them close. So the marriage conversation just sort of blew up. So I was like, okay, whatever. Let's just put that to the side, not important. Let's go back to the kids. I want a sibling for my first son. So that was kind of my main focus. Throughout the summertime, I had 2 miscarriages, which was, like, again, big emotion, big loss. It was really hard. And he just had no emotion through any of it. And I remember being so confused and, again, talking to him, and he was like, well, I'm not the one pregnant. And, like, I don't believe that's actually a baby, so I don't understand why you are. So, worked up about this. So at that point, I started sharing some of this stuff, some of these, like, conversations and experiences with friends. And really the messages that I got were, marriage is hard. This is just how guys are. They don't really understand. So again, I just sort of kept telling myself, okay, I guess this is how it is. And this, like, guys just kind of suck. And this is what it is to be, I consider myself married to a man.
Yeah.
So life moves on. I do eventually get pregnant with my second son. And then around the 8-week mark, I can't chalk it up to anything other than, like, womanly instinct. It just, like, all these alarm bells kept going off of, like, something's going on. So I was at a play date with one of my friends. I came home. He had been gone all day. So we shared location at that point. We had shared locations on our phone. He had been gone all day in this part of town that we never went to. And I remember, seeing he was in this town, being like, that's weird, but whatever. And then, me and my son get home. A lot of time has passed. He's still there. I call him. He doesn't answer. I text him. He doesn't answer. Eventually he responds, hey, I'm in, I'm headed to my sister's in this part of town. Those 2 parts of town are opposite. So they were, like, almost an hour from each other from where he said he was. He must have clearly forgot that he was sharing location. So again, I was just like, that's weird. So later that night, I looked at his Instagram. I feel kind of like I went investigation mode on this while he was gone. I looked up the address, and I saw the name of the owner of the house. And then later I looked at his Instagram and found that name and found it in his messages. So I clicked on her because I was like, well, clearly you're at her house. Some not intense, but still, like, inappropriate messages between them. So I confronted him.
And this is not somebody you know.
No,
this is a
never had heard her name.
Okay.
For me, yes. I'd never seen her, never met her, never heard her name. Later to find out this was his ex-girlfriend, like, all through his 20s. So they had known each other a really, really long time. Yeah, and he just sort of downplays, like, oh, you're crazy. It's nothing. She's a single mom by choice. I think that choice is, like, idiotic. She needs someone. She's lonely. We're revisiting our past with some of these messages. I acknowledge they were inappropriate, but nothing happened. She's just going through a hard time. I need to be there for her because I'm such a great guy, was essentially the response I got.
Ick.
So I try, I'm pregnant at this point. I want this family to work. I just was like, okay, I'm just going to let this go. I'm going to trust him. And then a few weeks go by and I just couldn't shake the feeling of, like, something's going on. So I was working upstairs in our bedroom. His iPad was laying next to me. And this, like just something inside was like, look at his iPad. Look at the deleted messages in his iPad. And that's where I found, like, all the sexting. There was one particular message that, like, just broke me and, like, haunts me to this day that said, if I had my desire, I would be inside of you and you would be the mom of my kids. Well, I'm pregnant with his child. I'm reading this message. So I looked through his email. There's hotel receipts. just, it's clear what's going on. So again, confront him. He denies, says I'm being crazy, over dramatic. She's just lonely. She needs someone.
She needs someone to take her to a hotel.
Yeah. So his story for that was that she doesn't get any vacation because it's so hard to be a single mom of 2 kids. So he was such a good guy and bought her this hotel room for her and her kids to have a local vacation. And yeah, whatever.
Can I have his number?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. Wow. No strings attached. Hotel staycation with your kids.
Right.
Ladies, what an amazing man.
Yeah. Yep. He's
with. Okay. So you're crazy.
Yep.
Because
so we get to that
smoking
point.
gun is like in his hand, but you're crazy. Okay.
Yep. So we get to that point and he broke my trust. And I still wanted to save our family. I was still in love with him. I'm pregnant with his child. Like, I don't take commitment lightly. I committed. I felt like I had committed to this for a lifetime, and we can rebuild this trust. So with that, I gave him 2, bare minimum boundaries of 1, no sexting to other people, and 2, stop talking to this particular woman. And I made the promise to myself of, if he can't hold these 2 ridiculously low bar boundaries.
I'm sorry, girl. That's
done.
like the bar is like rolling around the floor. It's so low.
I know.
But
I know it all looking backwards.
I've been there. I get it. I promise you. I only say this because I understand exactly. Like, I can feel you. I can envision it. And you're just like, you are a woman in love, saving your family. Okay.
Yep.
Mad respect for that. Like, there you
Yeah.
go. He had two really easy jobs.
Yep. Yeah, he did. So maybe a few weeks after that, I noticed he was being really weird with WhatsApp. Like, he would either kind of hover his thumb over it and then not press it, or he would press it and it would, like, a lock screen would come up and he would quickly shut it down. And so after kind of noticing that for a few days, when we were in bed one night, I was like, hey, I'm probably like being way too sensitive or whatever, but I feel like you're being weird about WhatsApp. And he was like, yeah, you are. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you're being ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, well, if I am, then can I see it? And he was like, oh, yeah, sure. So he opens it up, and again, we're in bed. So he kind of like turns to the side, like over the edge of his side of the bed. And I can easily look over and see him. He goes into the messages, deletes one of them, and then hands it to me. And I was like, I just saw that. Go into your deleted messages and show me what you just deleted. And it's a conversation with this woman.
The same
woman. Yep.
And you forgot to tell him that he didn't. That's the issue. You forgot to tell him that he also couldn't communicate with her on WhatsApp. You just said texting, so you weren't clear.
I actually think he used that as an excuse at one point. And he did say something of like, it wasn't inappropriate messaging, but I just knew you were going to freak out, and that's why I had it on WhatsApp, just all these excuses.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, my trust is gone forever. Like, I'm sorry, we're done. Like, I can't rebuild trust after this. Like, again, like rolling bar away. Like, if you can't meet that, that's not okay. And from there, so now I can label it as that was the moment of the narcissistic collapse. He realized there was no point going back. He couldn't manipulate the story from me anymore. And it just, like, in an instant, he became another person. He just, like, became really abusive overnight. He wasn't sorry at all. He kept like name calling me. He called me a tyrant for having those two boundaries that I set. He called me abusive. At one point, I said I didn't feel safe around him and I didn't want him to touch me because I didn't feel safe. And he said I was rude for saying that to him. A lot of like sexual coercion happened from that point until the point that he left our house. He claimed that I just used him to get the kids. Again, the narc vault, he remembered that I wanted kids before he entered the picture. So now he can twist it to say, oh, actually, I'm the victim. You used me to get these kids. And now that you're like, well enough into the second pregnancy where you're going to have the second kid that you wanted, you're done with me. So that's the story that he's been telling his friends. Just things like I used him for his money, which is funny if you know our financial situation, because that's definitely not the case. And just through all of it, just blamed hormones. He just kept saying like, I'm crazy, I'm overreacting. This like, I'll come to the realization of how crazy I'm acting after I'm pregnant, because all of my reaction to this is from the pregnancy hormones.
Okay. Okay. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, seriously, I can't even with them. Like, this guy, like, oh, it's hormones. I mean, it's not the sexting, it's your hormones. Okay.
Yep.
So how long is this period of like, how far along in your pregnancy are you?
I was, I think like 4 or 5 months at that point of that like the WhatsApp message and like the final, I'm done. And I had given him about 6 months to move out, primarily because I was thinking about the older kids. I wanted to make sure that they were safe, that they had a place to go. I'm not just gonna like kick them to the curb.
Right.
And I also knew it would be nice to just have another adult around while like those early stages of having a newborn baby. So I gave him up until the baby was 3 months old to leave the house. So really from that moment, I mean, it just like abuse, harassment, gaslighting constantly the rest of the pregnancy. And also just like his new pastime was dating apps. I was still really stuck in this like, who am I dealing with? What's going on? I don't know. Like, can I trust him? Am I being too crazy? Again, like you're constantly hearing these messages and you start to believe them. So I would look at his phone from time to time to just like, what is he telling his friends? Is he still talking to this other woman? Whatever. So I noticed really quickly he was like very active on Bumble. Oh, and I looked in his like hidden folders. This is really creepy. He would screenshot like profiles from Bumble and save them on there. And I'm sure look at them later on. And he had a bunch of pictures of a bunch of different ex-girlfriends, like not just his ex-wife and this woman that he was talking to. There were other girls in there too. It was just like so creepy that I was just like, what the actual F is going on? So I started researching.
How does he have all this time?
Yeah, right. Yep. Yeah. I mean, really, like I was living the, what is it called? Like single married mom or whatever that word is, like for sure, while we were together. So I started researching and eventually got led to personality disorders. And I was like, oh, check. At this point, I've probably spent like over 1,000 hours researching and understanding these personality disorders just to like, I just wanted to consume everything to really understand who I was dealing with. And once I sort of got that past that initial like shock and grief of, oh, my future is going to look nothing like I thought it was going to when I first got pregnant, I switched into this like, okay, I just need to get to safety, get me and my kids to safety. So that's when I started really paying close attention to especially his actions over his words, but I guess really everything and just documenting everything because he was really good at the like, intense harassment and then the next day acting like nothing happened. That happened a lot in reflection throughout the whole relationship where it it was a really good tactic where I was just kind of like, oh, he's acting like nothing happened. So I guess I must have overreacted and I just sort of like forgot about whatever it was. So I started documenting everything. Um, yeah, and really kind of spent my pregnancy coming up with a plan. And then fast forward to I'm in labor. At first, I when we got to the hospital, it was like everyone thought I was going to have that baby right there and then. And then everything stalled for like another 12 hours. And he was clearly super annoyed that labor was taking so long. Like he was just not pleasant to have in the room. The nurses and midwives had a sense, like they knew we weren't together. They kind of had a sense that it wasn't, it wasn't a healthy relationship. So I'm really thankful for them. They helped me feel supported, but just like that presence was not fun to have in during that birthing experience. So I finally gave birth, like I want to say around midnight, and then there's a few hours of sort of like getting settled and whatever. So it was probably like 2, 3 in the morning by the time we got settled. So he slept there for a few hours, and then he left, and then he wasn't there the rest of the time. And I just got left at the hospital with this new baby and like my head was spinning. He was a really tough baby for the first like 5 months. So I'm at this hospital with this really tough baby and I just start bawling because I'm like, how am I going to do this on my own? Like this is hard enough as it is, but I have a toddler at home waiting for me like this. And yeah, it was just so overwhelming. He did not make that postpartum experience easy. He took off 6 weeks for paternity leave, but left every single day. Like he wasn't actually around, so he just got like a free 6 week vacation and claimed it as paternity leave and left me home with the kids.
I wish that I could be shocked. This is like the hardest thing to hear. And I wish that I was like, oh my God, Loren, what a fucking asshole. I'm so surprised. But it's like that I'm hearing this and I have personal experience with this. Like that is the most important time to stand up and step up and be there for the mother. And they can't do it.
Yeah.
They can't. I mean, I've heard so many stories where like the birthing room is like get the fucking guy out of here. It's like, and then, or you're taking care of like, I've got so many stories, but and I hate it. I hate that's like the worst thing. It's supposed to be the most beautiful moment ever. And, like men cannot make humans. We just birthed a human. Like we should be like showered and like upon, whatever, all the things like, and they can't do it. And they can't like, that is right there. Like that hurt. I can like, I'm envisioning you in the hospital crying. Like I would love like to just give you a big hug from that point because that is a really insanely shitty thing that they did to you.
Yeah.
And it's not okay. So I'm just saying.
So yeah, I guess, he wasn't really, to wrap it up, like he wasn't really around much during that postpartum time. He actually was refusing to move out of our house. And then luckily there was he owns a condo from many, many years ago that he was renting out. And the long-term tenant emailed us 30 days before the date I asked him to move out and said, hey, this is my 30-day notice. I'm moving out by X date. So that he did end up moving out and he moved back into his condo. I moved him out that I think it was exactly that date that I asked him to move out. I moved him out just because I knew he would like take months and months and months if I didn't just like do it in a day and get it done.
Right.
And so he was living, that's where he was living before we moved in together. And I just remember at the end of the day looking around and it looked the exact same of when, before we moved in together. And it felt like this clear message from him of like, well, that was fun with you all, like back to real life. As I'm
Right.
like standing here with a toddler and a newborn being like, what the hell just happened to my life?
Right.
Yeah.
And they just like move on like it's nothing.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they're just
exactly. It
like
was
they've
just
just gone to the
like,
grocery store.
yep, that's exactly how it felt. Yeah.
Which is like, again, it's not a you problem, it's a them problem. But that is like the moment that you know that there's something like just so twisted and wrong and like with them is that there's
Yeah.
no grieving, mourning. It's like, I mean, if they do, it's fake, but they can
Yeah.
just go right into like business as usual.
Yeah.
And you're left
Yeah.
as like a healthy person with like the mess to clean up and like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I would imagine you went into like your own, like, what's like, is it me? It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Like,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
So he's in the
Yep.
condo. You've got the 2 kids.
Yeah.
What are
I
we
mean,
doing?
really just surviving, honestly. At that point, I was back to work. He was out. Um, we had agreed on, again, going back to like taking very detailed notes on the subtle data points that he was giving me. Um, I I felt confident enough that he gave me enough data points to tell me loud and clear he cares more about himself and his money and maintaining his lifestyle over these kids. So I think it was pretty much right away after he moved out. I gave him the child support papers and essentially the deal, like written in a like fancy lawyer way, was essentially I'm going to reduce child support by 80% in exchange for like minimal time with him for him of these kids. And he took it and signed it. So I know I'm lucky in the fact of like my legal situation was very quick. But it took a lot of strategy and effort and calculation to get to that offer that I felt comfortable that he was going to take. And then again, yeah, it was just like getting me and my kids to safety. I owned that house. We didn't own it together. And I just wanted to start fresh. So, I was in the middle of selling a house, buying a house, being a mom of 2 kids, being a working mom of 2 kids, all those things. So it was just really just survival at, those early days that he left.
How fascinating that it's like, again, these are, because I have heard this from all the people that we speak to with all the fancy letters. They are so transactional. Like that is a transaction to him.
Yep. Yep.
There's no, and that tells you there's no emotion.
Yep.
There'd be no way in fucking hell I would ever give up my kids. Like
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
never do it. There's that happening. I like cannot stand not being with them. You
Yeah.
couldn't offer me all the money in the world for me to do that ever.
Mm-hmm.
They are all like, yeah, oh, sounds good. Let's check that box. Here's the transaction. It's all transact. They're just, I don't have any other way of like describing it because it's like, there's no emotion.
Yeah.
So what is like, is he married again with another couple babies?
No. I'm actually surprised that the answer is no. And like
Okay.
truthfully, I thought for sure he would have moved in with someone. My best guess is that I've seen his dating profile. Like it just screams red flags. And I think women are just getting smarter. The last time I haven't looked at it, I just don't care anymore. I haven't looked at it in a while. But the last time I looked, he had our newborn son and him as his main profile. And I'm like, what woman is going to be like, oh, you are, for whatever reason, are freshly out of a relationship with a brand new baby? Sign me up.
Yeah.
So I
Oh
think
God.
he's having a tough time finding new supply. Um, It is interesting. I really thought that he would like hook in the woman that he was talking to while I was pregnant, but I think they lasted like 2 months and then they stopped talking. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, so because of that, he's super in the like hoovering phase with me. It's very annoying. Like he still believes that he can get me back.
Even to this day.
Yep, he's still trying. Yep.
The hoovering
Yeah.
is so important. I have that term in our dictionary because it is like, but had he been successful in finding a new supply, like you would be
He would
completely
forgot about me.
discarded. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
it's like,
it's such a double-edged sword because I so want him to find someone new to just leave me alone. And that feels horrible because I know that that woman is walking into like a really unhealthy, abusive relationship. So I also don't want that for another woman. But it sucks. It sucks to be the one who, is receiving whatever he's feeling like doing that day. It can literally go from like, I want you back to you're the worst mother I've ever met, like right next to each other in text. And it's just exhausting to deal with this.
oh yeah, you should send us your texties from your XD. We can read them.
I have some good ones.
Let's go. So
Yeah.
I want to touch on one thing really quickly because we're trying to, if like to anybody who's listening right now, you said sexual coercion. So you'd made the decision to like end the relationship. But again, and like you sound like a really freaking healthy person. Like you're not like shooting from the hip. You're like, okay, this is the plan. This is how we're going to move it forward. So, but like during that time, how is he coercing? Like, how is the sexual coercion happening?
He was still okay. So again, remember, we have the two older sons living with us. And I guess it was from fear. I don't know, fear of him, of what he would do, and just fear of like, I don't want to cause any harm in these kids' lives. That essentially we kept almost acting as if we were together. I mean, no, like, we didn't like kiss or hug or touch or whatever, but we were like, hey, how was your day? Whatever, in front of the kids. So kind of playing that role, we slept in the same bed for at least for sure the nights that the other boys were home. And yeah, it was just a lot of like groping and touching. I would say no, and he would like, I don't know, like
Yeah.
how graphic I can get, but he would like put himself inside like my butt cheeks and just like totally, I felt like an object to him. And I froze. I didn't know what to do because I truly didn't feel safe. I was like, who is this person? I don't know who I'm laying next to. I don't know what's going to happen if I like really stand up for myself. So I just sort of like, I don't know how else to describe it other than like dead fished it. I just try to like mentally disassociate and like I I just like went into a shell and let him do whatever he wanted and sort of like gently pushed him away until he gave up. And it was just like so many nights of that.
That's a great description because that's how you do it. I mean, I've done it. And I was actually called a cold fish. So when you said dead fish, I was like, oh, well, yeah, I was a fucking cold fish because I was just like, whatever I have to do to be safe. Right.
Yes.
So
yeah.
That's like way too common. And it happens like, it's so hard to understand. I mean, anyone who's listening right now understands because they're most likely going through it. It's like, but when you have these conversations with like healthy people, they're like, what? This doesn't track. But you have to do you're like, this is where I am right now. And so you're disassociating, but then it doesn't really matter to them because again, you're just the object.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they could literally like insert next.
Yep.
It would be you. It doesn't matter. And that's like, you're amazing, but he doesn't care about you.
Yeah.
because it doesn't care about anybody.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, the kid, they're just, I'm really surprised he doesn't have another kid. That's the only thing that's like not, like that's the thing that's not working out for this, like, but there's still time.
But yeah, I mean, really, truly, I don't think it's by his choosing. I really think he's just having a hard time finding someone.
So where's his crazy ex-wife?
She's still in town. She took kind of like the hard, firm boundaries, gray rocking type approach. So they don't really interact unless it's some sort of, like, right now we're in summer. So like summer camp logistics, vacation logistics. They'll communicate via email about those, but other than that, they don't talk. Her and
Did you ever know that? I mean, you know that he did it to her, I guess, without even asking.
Yeah. And this, like the woman, when we were together, I guess, like, played a big part in theirs as well. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, tigers don't change their stripes. So
Yeah. So I guess I just wanted to end it by saying, I know, like, even some of your responses are like, some of it's very subtle. And that's actually exactly why I wanted to share my story, because he doesn't have to be this person running around chasing you with a knife or whatever. Like, it can be more subtle, more calculated, more confusing. Not to say those other ones weren't, but when it is so subtle, it is really confusing for a really long time. And I think it's important for other women to hear these types of stories and say, like, whatever, XYZ doesn't have to happen for it to be considered abuse. Like, I wholeheartedly, will define that relationship as an abusive relationship, even though nothing, physical necessarily happened.
The psychological abuse and the psychological warfare that they are able to foist on us is extremely debilitating. It's extremely exhausting. It's like to be constantly confused. Like, you don't want to, and you feeling like a psychopath, like having to go through all their messages while they're still continuing to gaslight you. And then you're questioning yourself. Like, that's the shit that makes people mental. And you're like, how am I how it's so chaotic. It's so, like, next level all over the place, which is by design. And I think that, like, and I promise you, if you're a very strong woman, I have mad respect for you. Had you stayed, it would have turned physical eventually. Yeah. It would have, because that's just the way that that's the tracking.
Yeah.
And you left and you're safe and you got your kids safe, and, like, that's so amazing. Yeah. But you went through so much shit because you were like, the coercion is real, the mental coercion, like, it's like you're like the prisoner of war too, where they're like, you'll just agree to disagree. Like, I can't, if anyone ever says that to me again, I swear to God, I'm going to, like, set myself on fire. Like, that is just like, you have to cope. Like, that's a coping mechanism. Like, I'm just, okay, I can't do it anymore. So sure, I'll agree.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
I'm going to give you what you want so that I can take a break.
Yeah. And really, I mean, the best word that I've been able to come up with is con artist. Like, the beginning where you were saying, like, this all seems great and healthy. Like, it was all so calculated and by design to set himself up to be the victim, really, at the end, if something happened. And I really think he knew that we weren't going to last. And he was working from the beginning to make sure that he would be able to blame the end on me every day, while he was, well, even now, but especially while we were living together, but separated, just every day, constant messaging of, you're a horrible person. You're the one breaking up this relationship. I didn't do anything. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but he kept saying, like, I'm such a good person because I made someone else feel loved. you're a horrible person because you're breaking up this family and you're ruining all these kids' lives. And like, that wasn't my choice. I want to come home to you at the end of the night. So just so calculated.
That is a very calculated statement if you stand up for yourself with a pathological person or to a pathological person and you're like, I'm done. I can't do this because this is emotional abuse and I can't live like this anymore.
Yeah.
And you're a mother. They stop. You're a writer. Where should be a comma. You broke up our family. They put a period and you're like, comma, because you are abusive.
Right. Yep.
They can't, that's like, nope. Nothing. No, that didn't happen. That's the period. And so that is like exhausting too, because then you're like, well, no, I didn't. I did this for so long. No, I didn't. I had to do it. I had to you're trying to like mentally understand or justify you're the reason. And they're like, well, you were fine with it while you were fine with it. Like,
right.
This was all. Yeah. And now you're not fine with it. So you're public enemy number one. I fucking hate you. You're the worst. You're the worst mother. You're worst at everything. Worst. Like their toddler tantrum comes out.
Yep.
And they're like, now I know what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And again, because they don't care, because you're a thing, they're just going to move on to the next thing. And it's like whatever they can get. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
I'm so happy that you shared this because the subtleness is very important. And the nuance of somebody that is like gaslighting is it's exhausting. It's wrong. They are con artists. Like his mask eventually slipped. Mm-hmm. They rinse and repeat the same behavior with the other people. And like the new supply or whatever, as you're saying, like and thank you for saying narc vault because that is like, I love that. Because that's the only way I was ever able to understand what I was dealing with. I was like, this is gone away. And like, they're the only ones with
years later, it comes back. Like, where did that come from?
I can't remember my fucking password on my Gmail like every other week. And they remember some shit. We're like, wait, I had this conversation with you 19 years ago.
Right. Yep.
You know? Yep. No, they're skilled. They're con artists. That's just it. And I'm so incredibly grateful for you coming on and, having a great conversation where, the show. I never laugh to make it light or like to make fun of it. I have but if we're not laughing, we're crying, and we have to see like amazing things can happen. Life can move on. You can make these great choices. So you coming on and speaking to a bestie who's listening right now, who is, I love that you said you're Googling. You're looking to the internet to understand the situation that you're in. If that is happening to you right now, you are in an unsafe relationship. Yeah. Full stop. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a punch in the face. And coercive control and being coerced is like abuse. It's not like abuse. It is abuse. So thank you for sharing the subtleness and that the subtleties are important and you don't need to wait around to see what they're capable of doing next. We have to break the generational traumas. We have to break that cycle. So you're a cycle breaker. You're a protective mom. You're a baddie. You're all of the amazing things that like I love about the bestie gang that we're building. You're also, I don't know if I guess I can't call you a MILF because you got your litigation figured out freaking right away. So that's the only crown I can't give you. But
it's okay. I'm okay without it.
So that's good. But you are a BFF. You're a bitch fighting for freedom, which I think is so amazing because you're coming on and sharing this story, sharing your situation. You have changed the trajectory of your children's lives, and you are most likely bringing a lot of peace into their lives. And how's their relationship? Are they cool with like the not being with their dad as much, or how did like, or is it just?
Well, so my kids are young right now. Like as of today, they are 2.5 and 10 months. So they're really young.
Oh, this is
This is like
fresh.
recent. Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's gonna. Okay. Well, he has time. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so he's only been 7 months that he like since he moved out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's working on it. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know he's working on it. There's even
You.
times where I'll pick him up. He lives in like a really sort of like, it's kind of funny because he's much older than his 20s. He lives in like a very hip, like where all the 20-year-olds want to live part of town. And all like I just know him so much. I know what he wears and how he acts and what he brings and whatever to dates. And when I go to pick up the kids, I just watch him walk down the street and I'm like, you're definitely going on a date right now.
He's
Somebody's
trolling.
trying. Yeah.
Okay. So there's time. I can't wait for
Yeah.
you to catch me up with when it happens. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just sad but true.
Yeah. Yeah. So sorry, I didn't answer your question, but the 10-year-old knows no different than,
Right.
their dad living elsewhere. He probably still doesn't really know what's going on in general. The 2.5-year-old, he is a very sensitive, amazing, but super sensitive, like wallflower. I think that's the term, kid, just like very shy and sensitive and all that. Um, So I mean, it's been tough. There's even like recently he told, in a 2-year-old way, told me, Mommy, I'm scared that you're going to leave the way Daddy did. So he's very aware and that, it has to be terrifying to be
Yeah.
this little kid and, one of your two primary people just fall off the face of the earth
Yeah.
one day. Yeah, I mean they do still see him, but it's 3 days a week, usually like an hour to 3 hours, depending on the day, usually closer to the hour mark. So he sees him for like a few hours, spread throughout the week. So it's, they know who he is, but he's not super involved in their life at this point.
And yeah, and you're protected with.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is that they're like the young, like you did the right thing at a good age where
Yeah. That's my hope.
they can just be loved on and they don't have to feel
Yeah.
that energy, because that energy is nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Again, I mean, the kids, it just made it so easy. The way he was showing up in that space, it was just without a question that I had to leave for them. Thank you.
Oh, well, I love this episode. I never know what I'm going to walk into because I'm like, okay. So sometimes I'm leaving and I'm like, so like it's hard. And it's not easy to talk to you and hear like the pain, but I'm so grateful for this conversation because the nuance and the subtleness is so important. And it's like, we have to stop like ignoring it. Right.
Yeah.
And so, and knowing that if you're listening in your closet right now, put the Google away, you're in an abusive relationship. It's time to go.
Yeah.
So, can our listeners reach out to you? We're
sure.
public. Okay. So where can somebody find you? Just chat.
Yeah. Instagram is probably the best place right now. So LorenGray.after is my handle, LorenGreye.after. This is new. This is really, I mean, like I said, pretty fresh, like that all this happened, but also even more recent that I decided to go more public with my story. And I really am using this story, this experience to strengthen the sisterhood, if you will, and be there for other women who are experiencing these types of relationships. Or, yeah, I mean, it can be romantic, could also be, coworker or family member, whatever. Just these toxic, abusive environments. Yeah, so Instagram is the primary source, and then I do have a book called Till Death We Do Not. It's poetry. So my kind of like day job is more in the creative space. And I just really tapped into poetry as a way for me to process what the hell was going on as I was experiencing it, and just document this. For some reason, I just had this feeling of like, I need to document all of this, if nothing else for myself. And truthfully, I originally started it for my boys so that as they grew older, if they were interested, 20s or whatever, once they're mature enough to read something like that, have something available to them to help them better understand the story. Honestly, it came from a place of guilt of, are they going to hate me? Are they going to be confused? Are they going to be mad that I left? And I really wanted them to understand why I made the choice that I did. So I wrote that book really for them, and I started sharing it with some friends, and I got a lot of really good feedback. So it's published now on Amazon. You can find the link through my Instagram account. It's really, I'm putting it out there with the intention of, as I was doing all of those that researching, it was quite factual of like, here's the cycle of abuse. Here's the definition of this term and that term. And I was like, my mind is so fucked up that I don't know if I'm experiencing this or not. Like, that's how twisted my world is right now. So this book leans more into the feeling of these experiences of like, I don't know how to define what's going on, what I'm experiencing. But I can tell you how I'm feeling through this. So I think, especially if you're more towards like the beginning of, kind of realizing what you're in, that could be a really good resource, because sometimes you can't say yes or no yet in if what you're in is, whatever definition that you're looking up.
I have it right here. I forgot to pull it out. I'm so glad I want to, okay. So I think this is your book.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
It does have all the feelings, and this is okay. I have it bookmarked because I was like, oh wait, what am I forgetting? Thank you for reminding me. So the artificial, you say I breached the contract, but the terms were artificial to begin with. And that is the con.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the terms are always going to change. Everything is, it's all going back to, it's all transactional.
Yeah.
So I love that, by the way. So,
thank you.
This is a beautiful book. Till Death We Do Not.
Yeah.
Let me put it, well, that's kind of like aggressive, but we'll link everything in the show notes, for our besties to find your book. Loren Gray, you are a force and a baddie, and I'm so incredibly grateful for you coming on and sharing your story with us on Bitch Sesh. And I
thank you.
Love to keep connecting. I want to know what's going on. I want to know when he has a baby.
Yes, I do. I don't want to. I would kick myself if I didn't mention this. So one additional resource that has been such huge help for me in this journey is called, I have to look it up, the Burned Haystack Dating Method. So it's by Jenny Young. If you haven't looked at it, please, please, please. That has been huge in this journey for me. I'm going to like butch how she describes it, but my version of describing it is essentially the kind of academics of red flags and helping us understand what's going on and these patterns that toxic people give out. They give these messages without intentionally giving these messages very early on. And it doesn't have to be, I'm not looking to date. It doesn't have to be specifically for that. I've actually cut off ties with one of my family members because of the educational information that she gives out. So that has been such a huge, huge resource. So I just wanted to mention that to this group.
Okay. And say it one more time.
Burned Haystack Dating Method.
Okay. We'll link that in the show notes as well. And I'm going to go reach out to her, have her on the show.
Yeah. She's amazing.
Okay. You're amazing.
Thank you.
And I want to stay in touch. I want to we'll, we have definitely some things we could do. And thank you again for coming on
Thank you.
This
It
episode,
means a lot.
yes.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're okay. So guys, remember this, ladies. I gotta stop saying guys. Because no, I only know one guy who's probably listening. So there is no safety in staying silent. Use 911. Crash on a friend's couch. Do whatever you have to do to get safe. And just remember, the journey that you're on is. It's your own, and it's long, and it's winding. It doesn't make sense. Listen to what Loren said, like freaking stop tripping over these bars that we're putting on the floor for these people and level the fuck up. We have to be better for ourselves, for our sisterhood. We have people watching us, young people, stories like yours, Loren, they are like, we're changing the world. And I know this seems radical. I've been called a radical feminist. Thank you.
I believe it too. I believe it.
But we are changing the world and we need to. And anything you have to do to get yourself safe mentally, I love this too. Write things down. So I'm hearing from this, like, we have to document, not just the important pieces that'll help your case, but the nuances of like, so you can go into your next day not only getting it off your head and your heart, but not feeling crazy, because you're going to have to go back when they're gaslighting the fuck out of you, go back to the source and like, no, this is my truth. So standing on knowing your truth, standing on the truth, that's going to help your mental sanity. And also remember, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is there for you. The hotline.org is 800-799-7233 or text BEGIN to 88788. They're there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they got your back. So we've got your back, besties, and we will see you next Tuesday. Bitches being bad.